pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey. Roll call, please. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing nobody, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements of the chair. Supervisor Underhill not being here had given me some information to read regarding a tree planting ceremony for Gordy West, which will be at 1 o'clock Saturday, June 1st at Old Settlers Park in Paddock Lake. No tax dollars being used. The tree was donated by West Swartz Nurseries, and the stone was generously donated by somebody anonymously. So if anybody can make it, that will be 1 o'clock Saturday, June 1st. That's all I have. This time we'll move on to the youth and governance portion of our meeting. Supervisor Bruning, if you'll join me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Teddy Winnett, the Director of the Kenosha County UW Extension Office, and tonight we will be presenting to you our 7th group of students to participate in Youth and Governance. On behalf of the Kenosha County Board of Supervisors and Kenosha County UW Extension, we do want to recognize these youth for their outstanding contributions to Kenosha County through their participation in our Youth and Governance program from May 2012 through May 2013. But before we start, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the important folks who helped shape these young people, and those would be the parents of these young people in the room. Could they please stand? Thank you. We all know what an influence that those parents have in these young people's lives, and the supervisors themselves attest to the outstanding contributions of these youth. The supervisors who have served, supervisors and staff who have served as mentors to this group for this past year are Kim Brunig, Aaron Decker, Boyd Frederick, Mark Molinaro, Gabe Nudo, Jenny Tunkeys, and Mike Underhill. For their roles, we appreciate and thank them for their contributions. The Youth and Governance program has had impact. Just talk to these youth behind me. In addition, Kenosha County's Youth and Governance program has been held up as a model for other county boards. In 2012, the Dane County Board adopted our model and created their own Youth and Governance program. And as we speak, the Racine County Board is currently developing their Youth and Governance program to implement this fall. Your efforts are being recognized and replicated by other counties. That's the best compliment of all. We'll now recognize those Youth and Governance members who served this past year. So if they please start to line up behind me here, I will call their name, and they'll come forward to receive their certificate from Jeff Gens, Chairman of the County Board, and Kim Brunig, Chairperson of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Please hold your applause until all youth have been recognized. Colin Baruchak, Planning, Development, and Extension Education. John Carswell, Finance and Administration. Trevor Foster, Judiciary and Law. James Joling, Public Works and Facilities. Stephanie Cravilla, Human Services. Sabrina Michelli, Finance and Administration. Bianca Ricker, Planning Development and Extension Education. Emily Rowe, Executive Committee. Ashley Schneider, Public Works and Facilities. Justin Schweitzer, Joint Services Committee. We have 4 youth who were not able to attend this evening: Renaz Jawani, Jacob Genthner, Audrey Samard, and Micah Virilio. Please join me in congratulating these youth and thanking them for their contributions for this past year.
Good job, guys. You love me, Mom. As has become tradition with our Youth in Governance, we ask one of our Youth in Governance members to share brief remarks about their experience. Bianca Ricker, a senior at Tremper High School, served on the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee and will now share a few remarks. Thank you, Teddy. Good evening, everyone. As Teddy said, my name is Bianca Ricker, and I was a member of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. First off, congratulations, new Youth in Governance members. This is a program that will be something you will value for the rest of your lives. It will present you with opportunities one rarely has the chance to experience in a high school setting. I value sending in my application for Youth in Governance as one of the smartest decisions of my high school career. Youth in Governance has presented me with opportunities I could never have experienced in any other setting. I was given the opportunity to vote and express my opinion on issues I never realized affected me. And trust me, my opinion was heard. I've also digested a lot of new information from the program in a real-world, hands-on setting that one can only obtain outside the walls of a classroom. What I found most interesting about the program was that it coincided with my everyday life. In committee meetings, we discussed topics I was learning about in the school. We once had a presentation about the watersheds in Kenosha County. That very day in school in my geology class, we had learned about those watersheds, so I was intrigued. Every meeting contained a feature presentation or an intriguing discussion. At my last meeting, our horticulture specialist brought in giant grasshoppers. I kid you not, they were this big. Supervisor Decker can attest to this. They are huge. Aside from the grasshoppers, there were abnormal squashes, discussions about the upcoming Country Thunder, and a healthy eating presentation by the Shalom Center, which concluded with a tasty snack. Entering into this program, I never thought I would have such interesting and engaging opportunities that were not only fun, but educational at the same time. If I've learned one thing over the course of this year, it would be you get out of this program what you put into it. If you attend the meetings and don't engage yourself and simply sit in your seat as a slug, you're going to walk away from the program assuming it was a waste of your time. You will have obtained nothing. But if you engage yourself and participate in the discussions, read the material, you will walk away knowing you made the right decision by applying. This program goes by fast, so don't let too much time go away before you engage yourself. With a blink of your eye, it will be May of 2014, and you'll be standing right here saying your farewells. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
The first meeting can be slightly intimidating, but you can't let it get to you. Just remember that the adults in that room want you there. They want your youthful opinion and your set of eyes. Finally, I would like to thank the Kenosha County Board of Supervisors for implementing this program in Kenosha County. You have presented so many youth with this life-changing opportunity that is not available to youth elsewhere. This year, I was given a glimpse of all the work that goes into coordinating this program while being interviewed by the Racine Board, which is considering implementing a program of their own. All your effort was worth it because this program is helping youth's opinions be heard. Thank you, and good luck, incoming members. I hope you enjoyed this program as much as I did. Please make the most out of your opportunity. Congratulations again.
Grab that. That's grab the door. A little furniture moving is always in order when you get things. So yeah, you can. We're good. Thank you all very much. You may be seated. As in the past years, there continues to be tremendous interest in our Youth and Governance program here in Kenosha County. This year, we received 229 nominations representing youth from 10 high schools throughout Kenosha County. From those nominations, 60 youth applied and submitted an application. The Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee interviewed 26 youth to recommend these 14 youth tonight to Chairman Gentz. Thank you to the members of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee for their work, Supervisors Dodge, Decker, Underhill, and Chairperson Brunig, and our two Youth and Governance members, Colin Baruchak and Bianca Ricker. We'd like to acknowledge this year's mentors for these incoming Youth and Governance mentors. For the Executive Committee, Kimberly Brunig. Finance and Administration, William Grady. Human Services, Aaron Decker. Joint Services, Jenny Tunkeys. Judiciary and Law, Boyd Frederick. Planning, Development, and Extension Education, Rick Dodge. Public Works and Facilities, Michael Skalitsky. We will now appoint the 2013-14 Youth and Governance members to the Kenosha County Board committees. When I call your name, please come forward to receive your official county pin from Jeff Gentz, Chairman of the County Board, and Kim Brunig, Chairman of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Please hold your applause until all youth are recognized. Parents, this is the okay time to take photos. So you feel free to come up to the banister here, take your photo shots as you deem appropriate, okay? Lindsay Allen, Human Services Committee. Kahari Bell, Executive Committee. Abby Blyle, Executive Committee. Emily Gerstein, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Nicole Hyatt, Judiciary and Law. Jeremy Jorgensen, Joint Services. Ashley Kenny, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Patrick Kenny, Finance and Administration. Zoe Rodriguez, Finance and Administration. John Setter, Public Works and Facilities. Alicia Skalitsky, Human Services.
Peter Wurspa, Public Works and Facilities. Two youth unable to be here this evening are Michael Virilio, Judiciary and Law, and Madeline Artek on the Finance and Administration Committees. These are your 2013-14 Youth and Governance members. Youth, we look forward to your contributions in these next years. A reminder, you've heard it several times this evening, you get out of this experience what you put into it. So make it a great year. Lastly, I personally want to acknowledge the contributions of all of you as County Board Supervisors for your continued support of this Youth and Governance program. You are being looked upon across the state as the model for youth voice and including youth in county government. For that, you have very much to be proud of. And I am proud to be a part of that experience. So thank you all very much.
Okay, ordinances. Supervisor reports. Any supervisor reports? Seeing none, we'll move on. Supervisor Decker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to let everyone know I have a letter on my desk that anyone is willing, would like to sign. It is regarding the Milwaukee streetcar ratepayers. The resolution that I proposed went to committee, and the committee apparently doesn't think that the majority or the entire county board should be able to vigorously debate that issue, so they tabled it indefinitely. So this letter is regarding that. If you'd like to support it, please come by after the meeting to sign it, and I'm going to send it on to the Madison delegation. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Hallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On your desk tonight, you'll find a copy of the 2012 Annual Report for the Department of Human Services. When you do get a chance to go through it, you'll find that each division highlights the past year's number of clients and recipients served, programs operated, and services provided. Additionally, there is one resolution from the Human Services Committee tonight. We'll get to that later. I also want to say that I still have items from WCA and from NACO on my desk. I realized last meeting I was very non-specific as to what those are. Please come by, take a look. I do try to bring things back so that we here at home have a sense of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hallman. Supervisor Skalitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I came to learn tonight that the resolution that Supervisor Decker had brought to the floor last board meeting and then was referred to committee was tabled, and surprisingly, it's permanently tabled. Obviously, this body creates, debates, votes on many non-binding resolutions that it wants to forward along to either state legislature or just the county itself.
Who called that? Supervisor Molinaro, state your point of order.
Mr. Chairman, I believe this is very closely, if not exactly, on point for a debate right now between the two supervisors. It is not a report in either scenario, and I would suggest that we table the discussion and move on.
At this point, I'll allow you a couple of quick comments.
Well, I rely upon the committees, as I've stated in the past, to do the heavy lifting. I would have thought that resolution would have been vigorously debated and have come out to the floor for at least a vote, but it did not. I was very disappointed in the fact that Here we have a resolution, of course non-binding, but we have, like I've stated in the past, many in fact, that does have an impact to the taxpayers of the community of the state of Wisconsin, and of course it could have long-reaching effects to the community here in Kenosha County. I just wanted to express my dismay, the fact that it got tabled permanently in the executive committee, and I would hope that next time we'd see at least come out to the floor for debate. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Skalitsky.
The speaker system, maybe one of those speakers is on up there or something? It's hollow, it's bouncing all over the place in here. I don't know, a couple other supervisors mentioned it to me.
The only thing that's different is they moved the podium. I don't know if that's has an impact on the, it does? All right, wait a minute. Did you have trouble hearing Supervisor Skalitsky? Did you? In and out? Okay. Why don't you?
Test. Test.
All right, we'll see how that goes. We'll move on. Ordinance. Supervisor reports are closed. I see no more lights.
Ordinance 1 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment. Keith M. and Colleen E. Keating, owner agent, request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from medium density residential to rural density residential in the town of Randall. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 1.
Ordinance number 1 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is in conjunction with resolution number 10, scheduled later on the agenda. This property is located on the southwest corner of the intersection of County Trunk Highway F, which is Bloomfield Road, and 390th Avenue in the town of Randall. The comprehensive plan amendment will allow a revision of map 65 of the comprehensive plan from medium density residential to rural density residential on part of tax parcel number 60-4-119-172-0305 in the town of Randall, and the town of Randall recommended approval of this request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Supervisor
And to do different with this particular piece of property that they're not doing with it now?
They are actually subdividing it into 3 different lots.
And they're going to be condos or what?
No, single-family homes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Noble. Seeing no more lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance number 1 passes.
Ordinance 2 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment. Slavko M. Gurchik, care of Daniel Gurchik, owner, Patricia Adams, Wisconsin Electric Power Company, DBA We Energies agent, requests an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from farmland protection and business industrial park to governmental and institutional located in the town of Paris. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 2.
Ordinance number 2 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is in conjunction with resolution number 11, scheduled later on the agenda. Property is commonly known as 1606 120th Avenue in the town of Paris. The comprehensive plan amendment will allow a revision of map 65 on the comprehensive plan from farmland protection and business industrial park to governmental and institutional in the town of Paris. The town of Paris recommended approval of the request. I can also let you know that this part is being parceled off. It is a very long driveway going back into the other part of the land, and it is putting a cell tower on there. And you won't be able to see it from the road.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Supervisor Molinaro.
Through the chair to Supervisor Brunig, can you explain why government and institutional, what that zoning classification is for? When I read this, just for clarification, again through the chair, when I read it, I assumed this was going into ownership by the town of Paris, but this will still be held as a private owner?
I believe it's still held as a private owner.
So then I don't at all understand the governmental, or what's it called here?
But We Energies is taking ownership, I believe, as a private owner.
All right, I guess I'll have to look into that. It doesn't, I guess no one else is here, I suppose, huh?
No.
I'm looking for clarification on what the governmental zoning would be all about.
Okay, we'll have Supervisor Brunig or somebody from that department contact you regarding what that is.
I will get back to Supervisor Molinaro on that.
Meantime, I assume we'll just approve the resolution. Anyone else in the room
That's
know
up
what
to
it
you.
means? Through the chair to Supervisor Decker, if you're so inclined, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Decker?
If Supervisor Bruning doesn't mind.
No, absolutely, go ahead.
They are actually putting a substation there. So it's going to be used for industrial use, not a business use. It's going to be a substation where they're going to run electrical wires. That's all that it's going to be used for. And that, in our Chapter 12, calls for this kind of zoning.
Chapter 12 is a paired zoning, governmental and institutional, you're telling me. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Molinaro. Thank you, Supervisor Decker.
I wasn't even aware we had governmental zoning.
Supervisor Alverman.
No, I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I don't think it's ever been.
Thank you.
I will. It's weird.
Supervisor Noble, did you have any comments on this? Okay. Okay, seeing no more lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance number 2 passes.
Ordinance 3 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding Keith M. and Colleen E. Keating, owner-agent, request a rezoning from B3 Highway Business District and R5 Urban Single Family Residential District to B3 Highway Business District and R2 Suburban Single Family Residential District on tax parcel located in the town of Randall. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 3.
Ordinance number 3 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located on the southwest corner of the intersection of County Trunk Highway F, Bloomfield Road, and 390th Avenue in the town of Randall. The rezoning from B3 Highway Business District and R5 Urban Single Family Residential District to B3 Highway Business District and R2 Suburban Single Family Residential District would allow for the property to be subdivided into 3 single-family residential sites and 1 future commercial site. The town of Randall recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance number 3 is passed.
Ordinance 4 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding Slavok M. Gerch, care of Danielle Gerch, owner, Patricia Adams, Wisconsin Electric Power Company, DBA We Energies agent, requests a rezoning from A1 Agricultural Preservation District to I1 Institutional District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District located in the town of Paris. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 4.
Ordinance number 4 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located at 1606 120th Avenue in the town of Paris. The rezoning from A1 Agricultural Preservation District to I1 Institutional District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District would allow the operation of an electrical utility substation and associated 75-foot relay pole in the I1 Institutional District.
The Town of Paris recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance number 4 passes.
Resolution 4 from the Finance Administration Committee, a resolution to place the Mental Health Dismantling Racism Coordinator position in the 2013 Kenosha County budget. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, excused.
Supervisor Rose.
I would move resolution number 4.
Resolution number 4 has been moved by Supervisor Rose, seconded by Vice Chair Kubicki. Supervisor Rose.
Mr. Chair and members of the board, this resolution was adopted by the committee. It is a new position to be placed in the 2013 budget, fully funded by grant funds. As it describes, the title of the position is Mental Health Dismantling Racism Coordinator. The purpose of the position is to be responsible for a number of programs and activities relating to the reduction of disparities in the health status of the African American community in Kenosha. This effort was started a number of years ago with the issue of the obstetrics and gynecology, and this, I think, is an expansion of that. As is indicated in the resolution, if there is not grant funding in the future for it, the position terminates by operation of County Board resolution.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no lights, while Supervisor Skolitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the chair. Is there any match from the county's perspective on this grant?
No.
And it is clearly stated that if funding goes away, the position will be terminated?
Correct. If you look at page 1 of the resolution, the final paragraph, it says, consistent with county board policy, if the funding for the position is discontinued, the position is removed from the budget.
Okay. Are these activities being carried out in another department currently, or are these new activities that are being planned?
No, I think these are new activities, as is indicated by the description attached to the resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Skolitsky. Supervisor Montemuro.
Mr. Chairman and Supervisor Rose, I just have a question. Does this fall under Human Services? Would this position be in that department, or?
Well, it's administration, and finance does oversee the budget, so
Okay.
that's why it went there.
Went straight there. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Montemuro. Seeing no more lights, this is, while it's not changing the budget monetarily, it is changing the budget, so we will need a roll call on this. Resolution number 4 passes 20-1.
Resolution 5 from the Finance Administration Committee, a resolution authorizing a notice to be given of the desire of Kenosha County to terminate the collective bargaining agreement between Kenosha County and AFSCME Local 1090 Parks and Golf. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, excused.
Supervisor Rose.
I would move resolution number 5.
Resolution number 5 has been moved by Supervisor Rose, seconded by Supervisor Ron Frederick. Supervisor Rose.
This type of resolution has come before the board on prior occasions. It is consistent with the Wisconsin legislature's adoption and the governor's signing of Act 10. It gives notification to the AFSCME Local 1090 Parks and Golf that effective December 31st, 2013, we wish to terminate the contract as of that date.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Dodge?
Yes, I'm going to oppose this because my understanding is that this has been found unconstitutional. It's pending the Supreme Court. Also, I've been told that those contracts which expired after that first finding that Act 10 was unconstitutional, if that should be upheld, those contracts would need to be reinstated. I think this is going to be determined by state law and by the state Supreme Court and not Kenosha County Board, so I'm going to oppose it.
Thank you, Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Decker?
Through the chair to the chairman of the committee, how many people does this affect?
Supervisor Rose?
Not too many, but I don't know the exact number, and perhaps if somebody who does have that number could, Mr. Riedel, could I think answer that. He indicates 4.
4.
So it's a small group.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Rose?
All right, let me just address an issue that I think needs to be addressed, raised by Supervisor Dodge, and that is the statement that this has been declared unconstitutional. Certain provisions of the act have been declared unconstitutional by a circuit judge. That case applies only to that decision, that case before the court. That doesn't apply to every contract, every application throughout the state of Wisconsin. So I think our passage of this resolution is consistent with the law. If and when the Supreme Court acts otherwise, we'll have to address whatever the remedy is as set forth in the decision. On the other hand, it could be upheld as well. But I don't want the board this evening, in acting on this resolution, to act on the proposition that by passing it, we are doing something illegal or unconstitutional. If you decide that you're going to vote against the resolution, it's because of a public policy reason, not because of a legal reason.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Molinaro?
Thank you. Supervisor Rose is certainly accurate. I want to confirm one other thing, and just for clarification, I wasn't at the Finance Committee meeting. My daughter was confirmed that night, and apparently the bishop had tickets to a game on Sunday, so we had to do it on Thursday. Try as I might, he didn't care that I was a county board supervisor. If I could, through the chair to Mr. Riedel, is this termination affecting the 4 people that were part of the reorganization with golf and parks, and it was agreed to at that time during the reorganization that in fact this particular group would be, or contract would be dismantled or terminated at this point?
Does it affect them?
I understand it affects them, but was this all not part of the negotiation to reallocate those 4 individuals?
Yes.
As part of the parks and golf? So
yes.
You can talk about court cases, you can talk about Act 10, none of it holds water. At the end of the day, this is all part of the negotiations with these very individuals. They understand it's coming, they accepted it, it was part of the reclassification, reorganization that we did, what, a year and a half ago?
About that.
So I think the vote needs to be unanimous. Again, it was part of the negotiation that we had with them, they accepted it, and here we are today to follow through on that agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Molinaro. Seeing no more lights.
Roll call requested.
Roll call has been requested. Roll call, please.
Resolution 6 from Human Service and Finance Administration Committees, a resolution to modify Division of Aging and Disability Services 2013 budget to add Office of Justice Assistance Award. Human Service Committee, Holman, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Anita Johnson, yes. Decker, yes. Arrington, yes. Montemiro, yes. Nudo, yes. Finance Administration, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Kohlmeyer, yes. Kavicki, yes. Molinaro, excused. Grady, yes.
Supervisor Hallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move Resolution 6.
Resolution 6 has been moved by Supervisor Hallman, seconded by Supervisor Anita Johnson. Supervisor Hallman.
This is a grant from the Division of Aging and Disability Services, resolution to modify the 2013 budget to add Office of Justice Assistance Award for Crisis Intervention Team Training. The Division of Aging and Disability Services has received a grant of $37,509 from the Wisconsin Office of Justice Assistance to provide another crisis intervention training law enforcement officer as we did last year. This grant will pay for the trainers and for the time off of the officers to attend the training so that their departments can cover the shifts. These trainings are a cooperative effort of Gateway Technical College, NAMI, Kenosha County, and law enforcement agencies and involve no county levy. I believe we do have staff present to answer any questions that supervisors may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hallman. Supervisor Decker.
Just a couple of comments. In the committee meeting, I asked about past performances, and I was given a rather large file folder of responses from past participants, very positive remarks on this program. And then after the meeting, I actually contacted, because in the meeting it was brought up that a deputy or someone from the Silver Lake Police Department is going to attend this. So I called Chief Kingsley of the Silver Lake Police Department and discussed with him. And after talking to him, he told me of different situations that, in a simple term, are scary, that police officers have to go into, that they don't know what they're going into, they don't know how to react and things like that. And he was looking forward to this training so he would find out the right way to react to diffuse a situation when you have someone, for example, with schizophrenia or something like that. So I just wanted to let people know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Montemiro.
I'm on the committee for the mental health subcommittee, and this program has had nothing but accolades from everyone who participates. And it's not just for law enforcement, there are other people in the community. And honestly, this is a star for that committee. It's doing a wonderful job. I cannot more strongly recommend that everybody support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Montemiro. Seeing no more lights, this will be a roll call because it is a budget modification.
From Judiciary and Law Committee regarding regular cabaret license for One-Eyed Jack. Esposito, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Arrington, yes. Noble, yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Resolution 7.
Resolution 7's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor Noble. Supervisor Esposito.
This is a resolution for cabaret license, regular cabaret license for One-Eyed Jacks, excuse me, in Camp Lake Road in Salem, Wisconsin, coming off a probationary license. There was discussion at the committee in regards to One-Eyed Jacks didn't really use this cabaret license, but I guess that's pretty common as far as they want this in place in case they need to have outdoor bands or activities. There didn't seem to be any outstanding problems. They passed everything they needed to, and Captain Weichert approved it, so I urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Esposito. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've noticed on the last few of these that have come through that we are missing our floor plan that we used to receive with these that shows where the stage is going to be in the bar. And I'm getting a little concerned that we are not following through on this anymore.
Supervisor Esposito.
I'll make a note of that and make sure we get them from now on. I've never seen a floor plan before, come before me, as chairman of this committee.
New captain in charge in the sheriff's department, you might not be aware of that. There's a new captain that took over for the cabaret. He might not be aware of that.
It's been brought to my attention that we have a new captain that oversees that, and they might not have done that. He might not have known that's the way they did it in the past. So Supervisor Esposito, if you could check that out for us, I would appreciate it.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Supervisor Brunig, you still have the floor.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Okay, seeing no more lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution number 7 is passed.
Resolution 8 from Judiciary and Law Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of Rick Dodge to serve as a member of the Local Emergency Planning Committee. Esposito, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Arrington, yes. Noble, yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move resolution number 8.
Resolution number 8's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor Ron Johnson. Supervisor Esposito.
Again, this resolution is to approve Supervisor Rick Dodge to serve as a member of the Local Emergency Planning Committee. As we all know publicly, I'd like to say that Supervisor Dodge does take his meetings seriously, and I give him a lot of credit. He shows up at meetings that he doesn't even need to be at. So I think he'll be a great addition to this committee, and I urge your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Esposito. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution number 8 is passed.
Resolution 9, Public Works and Facility Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of Lieutenant Thomas A. Padoka Sr. to the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission. Elverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Elverman.
I move resolution 9.
Resolution 9's been moved by Supervisor Elverman, seconded by Supervisor Nudo. Supervisor Elverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You may recognize this name. I believe we approved it a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. It was just how the calendar worked. Officer Pudakis, or Lieutenant Pudakis, is serving as chairman of this committee at this time, and has, as I said, as the calendar rotated here on appointments, he just had to be reappointed here. So I would urge your approval, and thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Elverman. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 9 is passed.
Resolution 10 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment. Keith M. and Colleen E. Keating, owner agent, request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan from medium density residential to rural density residential located in the town of Randall. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move resolution number 10.
Resolution number 10 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The state requires a resolution from the PDEC committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan. The resolution would allow an amendment to the Kenosha County Comprehensive Plan for a change medium density residential to rural density residential in the town of Randall, and the town of Randall recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Seeing no lights, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 10 is passed.
Resolution 11 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendments. Slavko M. Gerchik, care of Daniel Gerchik, owner. Patricia Adams, Wisconsin Electric Power Company, DBA We Energy's agent. Request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan from farmland protection and business industrial park to governmental and institutional allocated in the town of Paris. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move resolution number 12.
Resolution 12 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Brunig.
I'm sorry, that's
11.
11.
All right, I'm a little warm. I skipped 11. I apologize.
No, you didn't.
Or I just went to 12, so 11. Seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Brunig. We're good?
Yep.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 11 is passed.
Resolution 12 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding to request grant funding and assistance available from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources under the Lake Management Planning Grant Program and take necessary action to undertake, direct, and complete an approved lake planning grant. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move resolution number 12.
Resolution 12 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution would authorize Kenosha County to apply for grant funding and assistance from Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources under the Lake Management Planning Grant Program and take necessary action to undertake, direct, and complete an approved lake planning grant. Further, Kenosha County and the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission will meet the obligations of the planning project, including timely publication of the results, and are committed to provide local share of 25% of total project costs, which are limited to in-kind services as obligated under the planning grant. The Planning Development Extension Education Committee reviewed and recommended approval of this item at their meeting of May 8, 2013. I also received information today that we have 5 letters of recommendation from the lake districts out in the county, as well as one from the Fox River District. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Supervisor Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to Supervisor Brunig, this sounds like a good idea. I'm firmly behind this type of analysis of the area waterways. Just some specifics, though. This is an application for the grant or the ability to apply for the grant, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And seeing that if it were granted, what would the anticipated length of the grant be? Do you have an idea of how that would be? In terms of years, are we talking this is a 1-year thing, 2-year thing, what is it?
I don't know. I don't remember. Supervisor Decker, do you remember how long it was?
I don't think we were given a specific time because they're just, as long as it takes.
They were just asking for the grant at this time.
And it would be as long as it takes to catalog this or.
And then the third and follow-up question would be, are there specific areas we're looking at in Kenosha County? Is there a prioritization of certain ones need to be done prior to others? Is there some thought pattern to that?
I don't think they got that far yet. They were just looking for the grant authorization to get the grant first, and then they were going to, once they filed the paperwork, then they were going to start looking at the different ones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Those are my questions.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. Supervisor Skalitsky.
Good.
Seeing no more lights. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 12 is passed.
Resolution 13 from Public Works Facility and Finance Administration Committee, a resolution to approve transfer of funds to replace air conditioner units at Brightondale. Public Work Facility, Elverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Finance Admin, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, excused.
Supervisor Elverman.
Move resolution 13.
Resolution 13 has been moved by Supervisor Elverman, seconded by Supervisor Noble. Supervisor Elverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. This is an emergency repair that needs to be done at Brightondale Golf Course at the beginning of our season. As you're getting into the warm weather, just as county board supervisors don't like being in this room, golfers don't like walking into an 85-degree room. We have a facility there that people greatly enjoy, but we need to make it user-friendly, and the air conditioning systems went down. We have the money from the source being unused money for golf cart paving. So I would ask your approval so that we can get this taken care of as the warmer weather is not only approaching, but some days is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Seeing no lights, we are going to need a roll call vote on this.
Just about done. We still have the money for those.
Resolution 13 passes 21-0.
Resolution 14 from Public Works Facility and Finance Administration Committee, a resolution to approve funding for waterproofing the foundation of the Kenosha County Administration Building. Alverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Kohlmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, excused.
Supervisor Alverman.
I'd move Resolution 14.
Resolution 14 has been moved by Supervisor Alverman, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is part of a long-term plan, actually, for this building that we've owned for approximately 20 years now. The long-term, we now have a comprehensive study that has been completed on what needs to be done with the outdoors, indoors, everything like we just completed with the courthouse project. One of the things that was identified is a horrible problem in the basement of this building that requires waterproofing. There's actual standing water, there's breaking down of the concrete, there's breaking down of the foundation. And when we're going to be preserving this investment, that's where you begin. The reason we're asking for this evening is that the city of Kenosha, and what I'm missed there is that this is a plan that we're talking about in the next 2 years. But at this point, the city of Kenosha is doing a sidewalk project on the street sides of this building, the 2 street sides. It would be very prudent to not dig that up twice. What we're asking for here is for a transfer from courthouse restoration funds that were unused and $4,570 from capital funds surplus to be used to do the waterproofing at this time on this building when the city has those 2 streets torn up. It's going to save us thousands of dollars rather than digging it back up, re-curbing, re-sidewalking at a different time. So I would urge everyone's approval on that.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Supervisor Decker.
This $4,570 coming from the General Capital Fund, what is the General Capital Fund?
Supervisor Alverman.
General Capital Fund surplus. That would be from, I'm going to throw this out, capital projects. So a surplus that wasn't spent on a capital project.
Yeah, I believe that's a fund line item for the courthouse that was unused.
No, that's the 140-some thousand.
Okay.
The other capital projects would be from other capital projects that we authorized that was unspent.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like kind of roll over extra dollars.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Seeing no more lights, we'll need a roll call on this. Passes 21-0.
Resolution 15 from Public Works Facility and Finance Administration Committee, a resolution to purchase property at 3308 Washington Road. Elverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, yes. Galitsky, yes. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro excused.
Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Resolution 15.
Resolution 15's been moved by Supervisor Alverman, seconded by Supervisor Nudo. Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you. The next two resolutions are going to be similar in the matter that they both entertain purchasing property adjacent to county property. Many times when the county owns buildings, property, parks, you're on the lookout for what happens next door, adjacent, across the street, everything that goes along with it. This is next to our nursing home at Brookside, and through some very diligent and just thinking by some of our staff when they see certain things occurring, properties, they were approached by the family that owns this property. We had approached these people years ago, and at this point, the price on this property is about half of what it was when we approached them. So next to Brookside is this piece of property. What we would be looking at, or what Brookside would be looking at, would be the ability to expand parking, the ability to expand their roadways, possible ability to expand the building, but it's in a position that is very important to any expansion there, specifically roadways and parking. The Brookside financial situation has improved over the past 3 or 4 years, and they have funds available in their own budget to cover this purchase. So on this, again, I would ask for everyone's approval. It's a very good business deal for Kenosha County and for Brookside.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Supervisor Decker.
I just want to read this line because it means a lot. Due to intelligent and efficient management, Brookside Care Center has financial resources being carried over sufficient to effectuate this purchase without the need for additional revenues or bonding. That is just outstanding that the management of Brookside has managed Brookside so well that they have a surplus and we don't have to dig into other departments or wherever, other pots of money to pay for this. I just commend the management of Brookside. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Seeing no more lights, we'll need a roll call on this item. Resolution 15 passes 21-0.
Resolution 16 from Public Works Facility and Finance Administration Committee, a resolution to purchase property on 56th Street between County Administration Building and parking lot. Elverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, yes. Galitsky, yes. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro excused.
Supervisor Alverman.
I move Resolution 16.
Resolution 16's been moved by Supervisor Alverman, seconded by Supervisor Noble. Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mentioned that this next resolution was very similar. This is, again, a very good business opportunity for the County of Kenosha. This is the property between this building and the unemployment office, I believe it's, which we own. The work that is going to be performed on this building in the next 2 years, along with the other 2 sides that need to be waterproofed on this building, would require extensive digging in the roadway, parking lot, and driveway of this adjacent property. Through some diligence by our Corporation Counsel and just his social acquaintance with the people that owned the building, this conversation began. And Mr. Vash had talked to these people years ago, and it was always in the back of their mind and his mind, and this opportunity just comes up right now for Kenosha County. The attorney that owns the building is going to be retiring. We will not have to pay for parking of their clients when we dig that roadway up in the future. We will have control of that piece of property for future parking for this building and for anything else that we would look to expand. Again, the purchase price of this building and saving of the relocation costs, parking costs, is a very good business decision for Kenosha County at this time. And we have fallen into a series of very good positions with our Highway W acquisition at our last meeting for saving us $300,000 this for the future, and the Brookside. It's just very diligent work on behalf of our staff, basically, that brought all three of these together. So I would ask for your approval on this one also. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Supervisor Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to echo some of the comments of Supervisor Alverman and Finance Committee. This matter was brought before us and went into some good amount of detail on how the potential acquisition of this property immediately to the west of us came about. And again, I'd like to thank our Corporation Counsel for taking such a lead and instrumental position in securing this property, and basically at a fair price, a price that really is doable for the county. It secures our position and makes the maintenance of this building, not only in current terms doable, but in the future just makes this downtown campus that much more desirable. So thank you again, Mr. Vash.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. Seeing no more lights, this is a matter for roll call.
Communications from Andy M. Bueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
We'll receive and file that communication.
Communication from Deborah Salas, Kenosha City Clerk, regarding attachment and temporary zoning district classification of land in the town of Summers.
We'll also receive and file that communication.
Claims, Scott Miller, tire damage.
Refer to the Corporation Counsel.
Brian Harris, medical malpractice while incarcerated.
Refer that to the Corporation Counsel.
Approval of the May 7th, 2013 minutes by Supervisor Ron Johnson.
Supervisor Johnson.
Move to approve.
It's been moved by Supervisor Ron Johnson, seconded by Vice Chair Kubicki to approve the minutes of May 7th, 2013. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Those minutes are approved. It's been moved by Supervisor Decker, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky, I believe. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. My hearing's not very, it's just somewhere in there.